Hey everyone, it's Kong again with another episode of Should You Summon? As always, I'm going to be presenting high-level overviews to help you decide whether this banner is worth your hard-earned vouchers and crystals. This month we've got the launch of two more Langrisser mobile OCs, Kaguya and Caroline. As we've come to expect by now, this banner will run for the duration of the entire monthly update from July 21st to August 17th. As a rate-up banner, you have a 40% chance to get each on-banner character, with the remaining 20% reserved for any other hero in the regular summoning pool. Before we jump into the banner itself, this is a good time to mention, with the Apex Arena playoffs ending this weekend, the next season of the community-organized Summit der Langrisser tournament has opened registration. You have until next Thursday, the 28th, to sign up, and there's prize money. And more importantly, since it'll coincide with early Season 11, it's a great opportunity to practice and get feedback on your box without worrying about losing points. I keep losing and I keep playing because it's fun, so I'll drop the link under the like button below, and you can go and sign up, or you can just join the Discord server to watch matches. Anyway, on to the banner. We'll start with Kaguya. She's essentially a magical DPS with an interesting buff stack mechanic on top. She has AoE spells like Heaven's Sanction and Black Hole, and single target spells like Cleanse and a kind of a custom version of Dark Reaper. Her talent is an int boosting command aura, and this is also where she has her card buff mechanic. So at the start of the turn, she randomly hits up to 4 spaces within a 2-ring range with little buff tiles. When an ally lands on one of these tiles, they get a random buff, and they increase one of Kaguya's 3 types of talent stacks. The way they're gathered is unique, but mechanically they kind of remind me of Hein's Fire and Lightning stacks, in the sense that you can use a skill to decide how to cache the different stacks in. She has a 1-cost skill that can either boost her damage dealt, and increase her enchant effect proc chance to 100%, so that's like Breeze or Clock or Thorns, or she can boost all allies' enchant proc chances by 20%. Using this skill also boosts her range and lets her act again, essentially setting up a combo into her 3C or one of her AoEs. Speaking of which, her 3C increases her crit rate for each talent stack she's burned, and when used, it's basically a debuffing 1.7 times single target skill that lets her retreat 3 spaces afterwards. So, if you didn't guess already from this whole song and dance routine, yep, she's a member of Strategic Masters, buffed by Altemuller and Lanford. She's also a member of Princess Alliance, buffed by Luna, Shelfaniel, and Christiane, and Mythical Realm, buffed by Gizroff and the Sage of the Trees. For bonds, she doesn't unlock bonds for any other SSR unit yet, and for her own bonds she needs Azusa for her defensive bond, and Sissy White for her attack bond. For content, she's on faction for Leviar and Phoenix, but she hasn't really shown up in any of the high-scoring Ancient Beckoning teams. She also hasn't made too much of a splash in Apex Arena. There are more devastating AoE units, and there are single-target units that don't need to jump through as many hoops just to end up smacking a tank. Next up we have Caroline. Caroline is a physical AoE DPS with some mobility shenanigans built in. On the surface, her kit has elements from both of her parents, but they're all kind of flipped on their head. Her 3-cost skill is kinda like Mum's sword beacons. She plants a lance beacon, but instead of healing allies, it causes AoE damage and then fixed damage to enemies. Instead of a friendly command aura, it also causes nearby enemies to have less attack or less int when attacking her. It also makes them burn more movement to get out of the aura. Her talent is kinda like Dad's area mobility boost, only this time whenever she causes damage, enemies within 2 rings have their mobility boosts reversed into mobility debuffs. Other than that, she has a kind of unimpressive normal kit, with another AoE, some typical cavalry type attacks like Ram, Assault, Smash, and Hooves, and a self buff that increases her mobility, damage dealt, and her AoE range. Unlike Mum, she doesn't get a neutral class, her choices are horse or horse. She's a member of Strategic Masters, buffed by Ultimuller and Lanford, Legion of Glory, buffed by Ledden, Elwyn, and Grenier, and Empire's Honor, buffed by Bernhardt, Leon, Lance, and Rosenseal. For bonds, she doesn't unlock bonds for any other SSR unit yet, and for her own bonds, she needs Ironblood Commander for her defensive bond, and her mum, Rosalia, for her attack bond. For content, she's on faction for Phoenix, Scylla, and Valkyrie, and she also hasn't made an appearance in any of the top-scoring leaderboarding teams in Ancient Beckoning. I can see AoE team players really wanting her to be good, but she's really limited. Nothing in her kit is really overwhelming either for the enemies or in terms of the help she offers your team. Alright, we'll move on to the notes for noobs, and this week's notes for noobs is another blanket announcement. These characters are both eminently skippable. The obvious exception is if you're summoning them for waifu purposes, to each their own. Lostum is coming up soon, and the Gintama collab is coming after that, and this banner is a perfect opportunity to relax the pressure on your hard-earned vouchers and crystals. And speaking of which, that's a perfect segue into my upcoming banners reminder. I've kind of already tipped my hand here. The Lostum and Ashumura banner is coming up next month, and Lostum is bananas in PvP. In the meantime, the raid-up banners for this month are Light of Genesis and Elma, and Akka and Sissy White. The Destiny banners are Illustrial, Gerald and Layla and Jugler, Sage of the Trees, Mew and Wheeler, and Lana, Rachel, and Tiaras. We've got healers and mages this month. There should also be a gear banner featuring Lostum's new favorite bow and Tiny Jess's new favorite accessory, but the downside is it's a gear banner, so budget for it at your own peril. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Let us know on the Discord or in the comments below whether you're summoning or skipping. I'll probably try to get a copy of each purely for collection purposes, but if they don't come cheap, I'm not going to bother sticking around or summoning too hard. There'll always be other, better opportunities later. Thank you so much for watching, I wish you all the best of luck, and I'll catch you in the next Should You Summon. Extra special thanks, of course, to our Langrisser tier channel members for generously supporting the channel directly. Shout out to Levitt, Derek Gunderson, Kate Soon, Jared Portela, Jerome Meyer, Shara Ilaimirius, and Harambe. Bonus special thanks to my latest donor from the Apex streams last weekend, Lord of the Rabbit. Thank you.